Hi folks. Today we're going to focus on using MLAEasyBib to create a bibliography. The first thing you want to do is you want to go to the FMCC website, fmcc.edu, and click on Evans Library. From there, you'll go to Evans Library for Students. So you'll see there's a list over here on the left-hand side. Click on Students. And in the list there you will see MLAEasyBib. You can go to MLAEasyBib MLA Citation Help. If you go there, you will see, as it loads, you'll see a little guide here, quick guide to MLA style. We're going to be using MLAEasyBib to make a bibliography using this style. So you actually don't even have to read this document, just know that it is there if you need it. So let's go back over onto the left and click on MLAEasyBib itself. And what comes up is the MLAEasyBib website. And notice that you can make citations in MLA, APA, Chicago, or a whole bunch of other ones. We're interested in MLA. So let's say that we want to create a book citation. Let's say we want to use your textbook. So you go to textbook and you'll want to do manual cite. See where it says that? Below this box it says cite a book by searching by title. We're not going to search for anything right now because we know the book. So we're going to go to manual cite. When you go to manual cite, eventually we will get to a screen that allows us to put in information about the book. Again, we don't have to search for the book. So we're going to go down to this second tab and it says, what kind of book do we have? Is it an in-print book, an e-book online, an online database, or some other e-book? You will be using either an in-print book or an e-book if you purchase the e-book. I'm going to assume that it's an in-print book and we're going to cite the whole book. You'll be choosing page numbers, but for now you have some other options here, a chapter or section, a preface. I expect you to cite the whole book. The next section is for the authors. So first you look at your authors and you put them in the order that you find them. So on the textbook. So the first author is Anu, and there is no middle name. And the last name is Singh Kundi. We can remove that. And then we want to add a second author. So add another contributor. So the second author is Michael Caine. And that's all the authors we have. So let's think about the title. So the title of our book is Discover Biology Core Edition. Most of you will have the Core Edition, which is the smaller edition. It's not the big edition. So you need to type that whole thing out. The edition that you have is most likely the 5th edition. You may be working out of the 4th edition if you got it from the library, in which case the authors, I believe you may have a 3rd author, I don't remember. Or you may be working off of the 6th edition, which is the latest edition. Then we need to put down the publisher, and the publisher is we'll make that a period, W.W. Norton and Company, and the city is New York. I think you have a choice of London. Try to pick the one that's closest to us. And the year of the edition that you're using. So the 5th edition is the year 2011. At this point, you can add an annotation. We'll be talking about this in a lab on information literacy, but some annotation you might add is the page that you found some information at, the exact information that you found, whatever. It might be there's a picture that you used, so you might want to refer back to that picture. So these are your notes. They won't show up in the actual citation. After you're done, you'll click Create Citation, this big orange button at the bottom. And let's look. Here is the citation, the actual citation in MLA format. You can copy and paste this citation somewhere, so you can just copy that and bring it to another document. Maybe you're working in Word, but most of you will be doing your work in Google Docs. Well, we can actually save this and it will go to Google Docs eventually when we're done. So this is our first citation and it shows up here as part of a bibliography. So here's the citation singly, and down here it's going to become part of a bibliography. Now let's say we want to cite a lecture. Maybe I did a lecture on organic chemistry and you want to cite that for this particular assignment. So we come back to EasyBib and we go back up to the top, and last time we chose book from this list of menu items. So from these tabs we chose book, and notice we don't see lecture here. So what I can do is I can go to all 59 options. If I click on all 59 options, you'll see that we could cite all kinds of things. We can cite a cartoon, how about a dictionary entry, an email. Maybe you got some information from a professional person in an email. You interviewed them, they sent you some information for your assignment. You could cite that. You can cite a letter. It's kind of old-fashioned. How about a map or a chart? So basically you can cite just about anything. Where we're going right now is lecture, because you're likely to want to do that during this semester. So click on lecture, and again we're going to have some things that we can fill in. Let's say this was a lecture on organic chemistry. So we can say lecture on organic chemistry. And we have a choice if it was a lecture or a speech or something like that. This was definitely a lecture. And the contributor would be my name, so who gave the lecture. Oops. And then what event was this part of? Well, this was part of a class in introductory biology. So you can say introductory biology class, or something else. So it's an event that you went to, and at that event you saw this presentation. Where was it given? Well, the city is Johnstown, so this is the location of the college. So Johnstown, New York. See, I had already typed this in once, so it fills it in for me. And the place that it's located. So this would be Fulton Montgomery Community College. Oh, you can see I typed that once before, so it's all typed out. So once you start typing, and then what day was that on? Well, golly, let's say that that was the 6th of February in 2014. So something like that. You put on the actual date that you heard that lecture. Once you've done that, you create, again, you punch this Create Citation, the big orange button at the bottom, and here it is. Here's the citation for that lecture. And notice what it does is it adds, oops, I don't know why there's two of these down here, but it adds, let me get rid of one. It adds this lecture to the book. So now you can see that the lecture shows up, and notice it shows up above the book. This bibliography is now going to be in alphabetical order. So we have a growing bibliography, and we have both a lecture and the textbook. Let's say we want to add your lab handout, because this is a lab exercise. And so we need to cite a handout, but there's no handout here. So let's go to all 59 options again and look. And if we look, these are in alphabetical order, we'll see like there's no handout here. So what is that thing? What do you think it is? If we keep going down, you'll see pamphlet. That's about as close as we're going to get. So let's go with pamphlet, because it is a pamphlet. It's a pamphlet I gave you in lab. And again, you have to choose an author. Now, you really have to see that author on the pamphlet itself. Many of our lab handouts don't actually list an author. Some of them do. So the ones that do, you have to put the author in there. The ones that don't, if you don't have it, don't put it in there. So I'm going to assume this one doesn't. I haven't looked at that lab, but for the sake of showing you how this is done, we're going to say there's no author. Then you put the title of the lab, and let's say this one's called Biological Molecules. That's the title of the lab. And then you have to come up with a publisher. Well, the publisher is who did all the printing for you, right? So that would be the college. So the publisher is going, whoops, I have to change boxes here. There we go. Is going to be Fulton Montgomery Community College, because it was published here at the college. And again, you're going to put Johnstown, New York. That's where the college is located. And the year that it was published. That year would have to be listed on the lab. Sometimes it says on the lab, it'll say spring 2014 in this case, but a lot of times it doesn't. And if you don't see a year, you can't put the year down. Don't assume that that year is this year. So just leave it blank. So all we have here for the lab is this title, Biological Molecules, and Fulton Montgomery Community College, Johnstown, New York. That's it. So we're going to hit Create Citation. And when we create citation, it's going to tell you ND, which means no date. Right? So, and there's no author, so it doesn't start with an author. It just starts with the title. And that's all there is. That's it for the lab. It has added this to our growing bibliography. So now let's say those are all the citations that we need for this particular assignment. At this time, you'll want to export this. The nice thing is I have you do all your assignments in Google Docs. And if I punch this export button, you'll see that you can print this as a Word doc, and that way you can attach it to a Word document. Maybe for some classes you'll need that. You can also save it to a Dropbox or to, OneDrive. You can email it to yourself or to somebody else. You can copy and paste it somewhere, this whole bibliography. But for you, I'd say let's go to Google Docs. Let's make this easy because you're going to give me your assignment in Google Docs. So click on Save in Google Docs. And it's going to say it's redirecting you to your Google Docs account. Now, it says it was successfully uploaded to Google Docs. That's because I am already signed into my Google Docs account. If you haven't signed in, it will send you to your Google Docs account. So it'll send you to your sign-in for that account. So you just sign in, put your credentials in, your username and your password, and then go to Google Docs. And there it is. So here is in Google Docs. Dismiss this. Here in Google Docs is your works cited. It's all done for you. You can just type in now your assignment above this. So you can just, enter and work these lines down until you can have room up here to put your assignment. And the whole thing is done, just like magic. You will want to change the title, rename this to whatever your lab is. So you will want to rename, when you go to Google Docs, so this title, you can actually rename it right here, just highlight it, rename it. You can go to File, Rename, but you won't want to rename this the correct name for your assignment. I think that's all there is to that. If you have any questions about how to make MLA citations or bibliographies using EasyBib, talk to either the librarians, they all know how to do this, or you can come and see me. Thanks for watching.